Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here, and we are on Mackinac Island for the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce's annual policy conference, sitting here in the dining room of the Grand Hotel with my good friend Ned Staebler from TechTown. How you doing, Ned?
I'm doing great, Chris. How you doing?
You know what? You are so enthused about your job anyway. Of course, you love small business, you love startups, you love innovation, and you are surrounded by that at TechTown.
Oh, well, I love Detroit, too. Don't forget that. Look.
And he loves Detroit.
I do. Born and raised. And it's a great time to be in Detroit. Amazing things are happening. The city is vibrant. We still have a long way to go. You know, some of the revitalization we've seen in the downtown and the midtown needs to expand out in the neighborhoods across the city. And at TechTown, we're working on that. So it's a real exciting time.
Yeah, it actually is. And I remember you guys are kind of a part of your community, and that's almost part of the education of coming there and being, part of TechTown.
Oh, absolutely. Authentic is an important value for us. We don't pretend to be things we're not, but we're Detroiters through and through, and we're a big part of the community, and it's a part of who we are. So we want to make sure that we're serving Detroiters, and the community that we're seeking to serve is not one that has had folks say that before and then not come through. So we're very conscious about under-promising and over-delivering. And we've been pretty successful so far. You look at the demographics, the entrepreneurs that we serve, and I always joke that TechTown is where the stereotype of the young white male entrepreneur goes to die, because you look at our entrepreneurs, and 40% of them are 50 or older, 70% of them are not white, and about a third of them are women. And that's true even on the tech side as well. Now, we still have a long way to go, especially on the tech side with women, but we're way above national averages on those kinds of things, because we need to make sure that everybody in the city gets to benefit from the revitalization.
Well, one of the things that's wonderful, it's not just tech. I mean, you talk about TechTown, but there's a lot of things that come through there that are pretty practical. Matter of fact, the first loaf of zucchini bread I ever bought was at one of the events there. Prior to there was a local guy who had his mom's recipe, and we bought a loaf and ate it on the way home. Literally ate the whole thing on the way home. It was that good. But that's a piece of it. There's a lot of diversity in the product, et cetera, et cetera. How have they turned out, the companies that start up in your organization?
Great. And just so you know, if you eat in a car, there are no calories. So that didn't count. That was fine. You could have had another loaf. It would have been fine. We've got great success stories all over the city of Detroit. It's not just tech. It's about providing jobs and opportunities along commercial corridors for longtime residents all over the city of Detroit, as well as amenities to make sure they have restaurants and coffee shops and barber shops and retail stores, places to buy a pair of socks in the city, which for years it was hard to do. Actually, I know you don't wear socks, Chris, but for the rest of us, we didn't know what to do when you wanted to buy a pair of socks. And now we've got places like Blue Boutique or Urbanum or Good Cakes and Bakes, or stores all over the city where you can buy the necessities of life to make living in Detroit better. Plus, creating jobs that are fillable by people who walk to work because they live in the neighborhood, which is it's kind of how we used to do it. It's getting back to basics a little bit, but it's the fundamentals of a sound economy.
Well, the other thing is part of that is you can walk now. You can get around now, too. And for a while, it was very difficult.
We've got a lot of work to do on that front. I'm on the board of the Regional Transit Authority, and I know that's not what we're here to talk about, but we're going to be back in 2020 to talk about a new plan to better connect our region, to make sure people can get to their jobs, that employers can get their employees there. That's a fundamental part, because our labor market's still a little bit broken, where you got a majority of the people who work in the city coming from the suburbs, and the majority of the people who are working in the city go into the suburbs. So we need to get our transit system aligned with that.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. And I actually remember one of the kids that I talked to, and I say kids because they were really young.
They're 30.
They are, but they're kids. And they were putting together a thing that would make the bus schedule run a little more efficiently, and they were going to propose that to the city. And I thought, they're really into the betterment of their community.
So we've got a whole initiative, and I'll tell you, you're right about that. The kids these days, right? But yeah. A lot of the companies that we're seeing have a social entrepreneurship bent to it. We've created an entire a platform called Detroit Urban Solutions, which is sort of a cluster of clusters, if you will. So you got people working on mobility, fintech, cybersecurity, digital health, all these different things working together, but they're doing it in silos. So we're trying to bring them together and solve some real pressing problems that we have in Detroit. Necessity is the mother of invention, and we know that it's going to be really good scalable business models, because a lot of the problems that we have are present all over the country and all over the world, especially as the world re-urbanizes and people are moving into cities faster and faster. So Detroit Urban Solutions is really trying to find those technologies, find those ideas, pilot them in Detroit, and then make money selling them all around the world.
You know, it's interesting, that re-urbanization that's happening all over the globe, too. It's not just here in America, but pretty neat stuff. Okay, you've got a hot new initiative going on, and I want to hear about it.
So I'm really excited. This is one of the coolest things we've ever done at TechTown. So what's Detroit known for? Cars and music, right? And not just Motown, but also, electronica and things like that, but music. And there are a lot of people doing cars. So there's mobility folks, and the folks at Techstars and Planet M and Ford are all making big splashes in that space, and that's great because we put the world on wheels. But music is an important aspect of our culture as well. We want to be authentic when we're doing things, so rather than just trying to create something out of whole cloth, we're doing 2 new accelerators this year under the Motown brand in partnership with the Motown Museum, Capitol Records, and Motown Records, as well as some friends out of Milwaukee called Generator that run accelerators. One's an accelerator for music tech. So think Spotify, think companies that are going to compress music or serve ads better, or those kinds of technologies around music. And then on the other side of it, one for emerging artists. So think, The Voice or
Diana Ross.
We've had a couple emerging artists come out of Detroit. So the question is, how do we help those folks who already have traction? This is not Chris is singing in his bathroom in the shower. And
thank God for that.
Yeah. This is people that are already using the platforms and are getting viewers but don't know how to really professionalize it. And we're going to wrap around a whole bunch of services. So everything from financial planning to mental health services to mentoring and coaching with folks who've done it, so that not only are they successful, but it's sustainable as well.
Awesome stuff. You always do exciting stuff down there. Ned Staebler, Director of TechTown. It's always good to see you. Thanks for spending time with us.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Look forward to coming back again.
All right, buddy. We'll make sure that you do. Thank you for being part of the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. We're at the Grand Hotel right now, and we're here for the Detroit Policy Conference put on by the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. I'm Chris Holman. We'll be right back.